Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
You know, it's why the word deportation now appears in conversation in Britain among people who frankly should know better. You will hear people say, should be deported, in conversations from people who would probably describe themselves as civilised. And yet that shifts. So somebody says it gets disavowed, but everything has shifted slightly. So Trump says, supporters of the Second Amendment, hey, they might be able to do something about Hillary Clinton's plans to change the gun laws. Hey, yeah, gun fans, you got someone who's anti-guns and you're a gun fan. Hey, yeah, as the Americans like to say, you do the math. So you start having a conversation now about whether actually he meant what he is saying. And I wonder whether you're actually contributing to the problem. And then you start going mad. You start thinking, well, is any conversation at all about Donald Trump effectively calling upon his fans to shoot Hillary Clinton? If you even address it at all, are you in some way contributing to that process of incremental extremism? Because by having the conversation, people who want to ring in and defend him are essentially made to feel as if they're not chuntering nuggets, which they most clearly are. It's the closest I've come to swearing on the programme in a very, very long time. I've got to stop saying chuntering nuggets because it doesn't come out very naturally. So even by saying to you now, do you think Donald Trump was really calling on his fans to kill Hillary Clinton? You ring me up and say, no, he wasn't. Do you remember that guy we had last week? Or the week before, Paul someone? Ringing in to praise Trump. The man was absolutely batty. I mean, truly batty. But you get on LBC, you put your point forward, a few other batty people start nodding, and maybe you as a presenter have to take responsibility for the fact that Hillary Clinton is now receiving death threats. That would be true in America. It's not going to be true here, but the principle stands. 0345 60 60973 is the number that you need. Listen to what he actually said, okay? Here it is.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be a horrible day.
Hey, maybe there is something you could do if you really like guns and there's a politician who doesn't. I don't know what it would be. Come on. There's no debate there, is there? Well, we're not having it today. If you honestly don't think that Donald Trump knew precisely what he was doing when he said, hey, if you have a problem with a politician that wants to change the right to bear arms, well, maybe there is something you could do about it if you've got a gun. And that's America in the 21st century. A country that historically has a very different relationship with firearms from us, but where political debate appears to be quite similar to ours at the moment, motivated almost entirely, it would seem, by blind hatred and borderline sociopathic insanity.
This latest episode, here are some of Donald Trump's most controversial comments of the campaign so far.
What's happened? Today, the leading Republican candidate for president, Donald Trump, gave an interview to Yahoo Politics, which Yahoo wrote up as follows, quote, Yahoo News asked Mr. Trump whether his push for increased surveillance of American Muslims could include warrantless searches. He suggested he would consider a series of drastic measures. Yahoo News asked Mr. Trump whether this level of tracking of American Muslims might require registering Muslims in a database or giving them a form of special identification that noted their religion. Mr. Trump would not rule it out.
Mr. Trump, why would Muslim databases not be the same thing as requiring Jews to register in Nazi Germany? Is there a difference between requiring Muslims to register and Jews?
You tell me.
Nazi Germany?
You tell me.
Do you believe?
Why don't you tell me?
Do you believe there is?
You tell me.
At least in the way the reporter wrote it up. And so, yeah, that interview and that story have had a big impact today, as you can see from all the headlines about it. Also from responses like this one from one American Jewish group, which said in response to this Yahoo News article, quote, registering everyone of a certain religion to a list? We've seen that. It doesn't end well.
In June, he had this to say about Mexico.
The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. Thank you. It's true. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting. And it only makes common sense. It only makes common sense. They're sending us not the right people. It's coming from more than Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America, and it's coming probably from the Middle East. But we don't know, because we have protection, and we have no competence. We don't know what's happening. And it's got to stop. And it's got to stop fast.
How to keep Mexicans out?
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words.
During a televised debate in August, Donald Trump clashed repeatedly with one of the moderators, Megyn Kelly from Fox News. Afterwards, he spoke to CNN and appeared to suggest her manner was down to her menstrual cycle.
Talk about Megyn Kelly, because you brought her up. She did push you, pushed a lot of people, but what is it with you and Megyn Kelly?
Well, I just don't respect her as a journalist. I have no respect for her. I don't think she's very good. I think she's highly overrated. But when I came out there, what am I doing? I'm not getting paid for this. I go out there, and they start saying, "Lift up your arm if you're going to." I didn't know there'd be 24 million people. I figured, but I knew it was going to be a big crowd because I get big crowds. I get ratings. They call me the ratings machine. So I have, she gets out and she starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions. And, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. But she was, in my opinion, she was off base.
Last month, many commentators thought at a rally in South Carolina, Donald Trump mocked a reporter with disabilities.
Right after a couple of good paragraphs, it's talking about northern New Jersey draws the prober's eye, written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said.
Kowaleski suffers from a physical disability that limits the movement of his arms.
And to bring us almost up to date to last night, again in South Carolina, Donald Trump said this.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. We have no choice. We have no choice.
10:40 is the time. Ros is in Stoke Newington. Ros, what would you like to say?
Good morning, James.
Hello,
I want to make 2 points before we go anywhere. The first being, I've never been a fan of yours. The second is that you're there to report facts and then invite conversation.
No, I'm not.
I'd like you to play for
I'm
our
not.
listeners. Hold on.
Well, we
Please
have to
play-
start with your original premise. Not liking me, that suggests you might have some sort of issues that medical help might be able to address. But in terms of you telling me what my job is, that's
You're
just...
saying I'm insane in some way simply because I'm not a fan of yours. Is
Yeah,
that what
I
you're
think
telling
it's
me?
probably a fairly telling symptom, yes.
Oh, that's very egotistical of you, isn't it?
Absolutely
James?
agree with you.
Listen, all that aside, I just want you to play the exact words where Trump says, go out and shoot Hillary Clinton. The exact words.
He
Because
doesn't
that's what
say...
you're purporting.
No, I said effectively.
You've repeated that sentence over and over and
Effectively
over again.
calling for his rival to be assassinated.
James, you incite bloody anger in people. You really
Only
do.
really stupid people, Ros, who are motivated mostly by hate. And I don't know how else I can do
had
that.
A good education.
I didn't mean
thank very much.
you. I didn't mean
But
you.
You are very egotistical.
I didn't mean you, Ros. Who said you were stupid? You just said that I incite a lot of anger in people. I said only really stupid people who don't like thinking. I don't know where you got the idea that you'd be included in that category. Anyway, tell me again what my job is. Ros? Ros? Oh, Ros. Richard's in Coventry. Richard, what would you like to say?
Hello, James. Thanks for having me on. I'm still laughing at that woman that was just on.
She's a real person, mate, and she's got votes.
They are amongst us, James.
Well, yeah, but you can chuckle all you want, you know? There are people in the hall in America that we think are absolute fools, but we've got them. Where was she again? Rosin?
I've forgotten now.
Stoke Newington, mate. It's just up the road.
Newington.
Anyway, it's a long way from Coventry, so you'll be behind me in the queue. Carry on. And I take no pleasure in saying I told you so. There are people in this country who will be routinely, supremely untroubled by the fact that a man who would lead the free world, a man whose tiny, tiny little finger may soon be hovering above the nuclear button, thinks it's perfectly acceptable to stand up in a crowd full of fans who love guns and suggest that if they want to stop a president who doesn't love guns from changing the Constitution, then maybe there's something as gun lovers they could do. Alice is in Hackney. Alice, what's going on?
Hi, Jeff. So this is like what I think possibly might be contributing to why some people are still supporting him, or a lot of people. I speak as someone who was initially a Trump supporter. Yes, I know. I came across a lot of material on conspiracy theories and things, and that there was this sort of secret government working against the general public, which Clinton administration was very much part of. And I became so anti that continuing that when I heard about Trump, this was back in Christmas time, the beginning of the
anything
year.
that appeared to offer a meaningful alternative to the status quo would have tickled your fancy.
Bluntness.
Yes.
It was his
Can I ask you a silly question? Do you like Jeremy Corbyn as well?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
It's his vulnerability, and I'm someone who speaks bluntly all the time. It gets me into trouble most of the time, and it holds me back.
Okay.
But I think there are a lot of the general public who are also like that, who are not being heard from. And I think...
Yes, but the problem I have, and Alice, just pause for a minute. I'm going to give you lots and lots of time. I kind of knew you'd also like Corbyn, because it's that notion that surely there is a different way that things could be done. When you say Trump talks bluntly, and you get this with Farage a lot as well, he lies through his teeth. How can people be sort of touched by lies? The reason why he talks bluntly is because he doesn't have to actually qualify everything with evidence and truth. He can just lie, and lie again.
I think at first you don't notice that. And it's only through time that he's proved that those things are not backed up.
Okay, so when he said John McCain's not a proper war hero because he was taken prisoner, that wasn't a moment, because that was before Christmas.
I actually hadn't heard that, no.
Okay.
I hadn't heard that when I was...
All Mexicans are rapists?
I don't believe he actually said... When I was looking into him, I could not see that having written down that he said that. That's the thing... I didn't see that he'd... My friends who were horrified...
Someone's doing the raping, he says. Someone's doing the raping.
Right, okay, I didn't pay attention to that. I was paying attention to the things that I felt were... the opposite to what we currently had, which was I just wanted someone who wasn't controlled by the same people that I believed have been controlling.
Which is why I asked you about Corbyn. So how come people still don't see through this murderous sociopath?
Because people are busy, and it's easier to delude themselves that they were right in the first place than change their mind. Take this example. My best friend of 6 or 7 years, which is quite painful for me, it's the first time I've actually gotten emotional about it.
Go on, take your time. Take your time.
She lives in America. She's American, and like a few months ago, she did basically cut my friendship off when she saw my stance.
Your pro-Trump stance.
Yes. And it was very hurtful because we've worked with a lot of friends, and I think that could have been worked through, and she saw it as it marked who I must be as a person, and she didn't want that kind of person in her life anymore.
Yes.
And I wonder if there are other people experiencing that level of you're wrong if you support Trump. You know, I'm someone who's prepared to say, I was wrong. But who cares? I was wrong. I'm not supporting him anymore. But how many other people will do that? Once you support someone, you kind of think, I don't want to be wrong. And also, I don't want to accept Clinton. I don't want to accept the old thing. That painful that we can't change the system. The system's going to win again.
Yes, but I guess what your friend would find confusing is how you think that a serial bankrupt who would be richer today if he'd stuck all the money he inherited from his dad in a post office account instead of opening casinos, often built with illegal immigrant labour, who hasn't paid taxes, it would appear, for the best part of his adult life and refuses to do what every other presidential candidate in recent history has done and publish his tax returns, while routinely maligning immigrants despite being married to one, portraying one of the world's biggest religions as being populated entirely by terrorists and murderers, and insulting the parents of a Muslim soldier who died in the service of America, while Donald Trump's background involves more dodges of the draft than you can count on one hand. So I'm with your friend.
Yeah, no, I am with her now, but it's painful that she cut me off and we're no longer in contact.
Well, send her, tell her you've seen the error of your ways. It's so much harder to admit you've been fooled than it is to fool someone. Well, it's so much harder to persuade someone they've been fooled than it is to fool someone. Fooling people's easy. Fooling people's a piece of cake. Proving to them that they've been fooled, that's much harder. And admitting that you've been fooled, that takes proper guts. Your friend will respect you for it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I want to be friends anymore with someone who... No.
She's allowed to not want to be friends with someone who is an apologist for a fascist. And you were, and now you're not.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't stand up to people who are falling for the fascism, you fall into the trap of being the good man that does nothing. And that's all that's needed for evil to triumph. 10:56 is the time. You nailed something there, though, Alice, I tell you. The idea that you hear what you want to hear and disregard the rest is absolutely at the heart of all of this. And that's what's so astonishing. The only way people like me can make sense of it is when people like you tell me, well, I kind of didn't hear that, or oh, I missed that, or I had my fingers in my ear for that bit. The speech yesterday, everybody heard it. Some people still like him. That's what's so remarkable. Amy's in Brighton. Amy, what would you like to say?
James. You really need to be careful with, the things that you accuse people of, because he didn't say all Mexicans are rapists, as the left liberal side always likes to accuse him of. He said illegal Mexicans, and some of them. You don't have any idea what is going on in America at the moment. You don't live there. You've never lived there, or maybe you have, but,
Shall we talk a bit more about Donald Trump and a bit less about me?
I think you should concentrate more on Hillary Clinton and the criminal that she is, and how dangerous she is, and how her actions have caused people's deaths. She has so much, everybody gives her a pass. She has actually committed crimes, and the press are completely just closing their eyes to it.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
No, not all of them. No, he didn't. It's just the way people twist his words.
Oh, okay.
Now, admittedly...
Let's twist these words.
I'm the only one on the stage that said we should not go into Iraq.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
I'm very pro-life.
I'm very pro-choice.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle? There has to be some form of punishment.
I am pro-choice in every respect.
She has no natural talent to be president.
She's very talented, and she has a husband that I also like very much.
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States.
Hillary Clinton, how did she do as Secretary of State? Probably above and beyond everybody else.
Let's say Hillary is president.
Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job, and I like her. I will build the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it, and they'll be happy to pay for it.
I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay?
Listen, you motherfuckers. We'll tax you.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. We'll beat the shit out of them.
Political bullshit.
You're not going to raise that fucking price. You understand?
Donald, true or false, you've said the government should pay for everyone's health care?
That's false.
You've never said that.
Everybody's got to be covered.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side. He said I was in favor of Libya. I never discussed that subject. I was in favor of Libya. We would be so much better off if Gaddafi were in charge right now. Gaddafi in Libya is killing thousands of people. We should go in. We should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. Stop him from doing it and save these lives. They're here illegally. You take them, they have to go back.
We have to show some compassion.
You're right.
We just can't throw everybody out.
They have
So
to
you're going to
come
split up
illegally.
families.
Chuck,
You're going to deport children.
Chuck, no. We're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep
But
them
they have
together
to
out.
go. But they have to go.
How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years?
North Korea has nukes. Japan has a problem with that. I mean, they have a big problem with it. Maybe they would, in fact, be better off if they defend themselves from North Korea. Maybe we would be better off, including with nukes. Yes, including with nukes.
They said, I want Japan to nuke. I want Japan to get nuclear weapons. Give me a break.
But if you say to Japan, yes, it's fine, you get nuclear weapons, South Korea, you as well, and Saudi Arabia says we want them too.
Can I be honest with you? It's going to happen anyway. So it's only a question of time.
You don't need to twist his words, do you, Amy? Because he does it so well himself.
You did that, you know, playing sound bites from before the fact.
Saying things he actually said. I know, it's awful of me. So amateurish.
Before he was running for president.
Yeah, I know, because surely you can only trust him after he's announced that he wants your vote, not before.
You have to be equal. Play all the lies that Hillary Clinton has come out with.
Yesterday, FBI Director James Comey announced that Hillary Clinton would not be prosecuted for her email scandal, despite the fact that just about everything she's told us about it for the past year has been a lie.
We went through a thorough process to identify all of my work-related emails.
Lawyers doing the sorting for Secretary Clinton in 2014 did not individually read the content of all of her emails.
And provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
The FBI also discovered several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
I did not email any classified material to anyone.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information.
I thought it would be easier to carry just one device.
She also used numerous mobile devices.
Okay, well, actually, the landing under sniper fire in Bosnia?
Finally, Clinton's claim last week that she came under sniper attack in Bosnia in 1996.
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
But those of us on that trip recall it differently. Instead of running for cover, Clinton was greeted by a schoolgirl who read her a poem of welcome. Accompanying the First Lady, Chelsea Clinton, singer Sheryl Crow, and comedian Sinbad to entertain the troops. Although Clinton's C-17 did make a corkscrew landing, standard for a battle zone.
What stuns me about this is the explicitness of her recollection, combined with the certitude in that video clip that this all really happened. Now we're told she misspoke. Why is she doing this? She doesn't need to. It just hurts her.
For that, Clinton was awarded 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post's fact checker. A campaign spokesman today acknowledged that Clinton misspoke last week, but did describe the trip accurately in her autobiography 5 years ago.
There you go. You've said it out loud. Has she denied that?
Sorry?
Has she denied that? Has she said the polar opposite of what you've just said within living memory? She's been busted.
She landed under sniper fire.
And it's out there, and it's been talked about.
And if you watch the video...
It's been out there, it's been reported. No one's twisting anything. It's a matter of fact and record. Trump says black and white in the same breath, and people like you accuse people like me of twisting his words.
AJ, but, you know, you are actually it is really serious.
I know it is. I know it is. You've got a man saying, I'm pro-choice and pro-life. I'm against the Iraq war and in favour of the Iraq war. I hate Hillary Clinton and I love Hillary Clinton. And we've got someone in Brighton who thinks his words are being twisted. You're damn right it's serious. And he's calling, of course, for her to be assassinated. And people like you, Amy, people like you are cheering him. I don't think you needed to tell us it was serious. I suspect we could have worked that out for ourselves.